One cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well. If you do not tell the truth about yourself, you cannot tell it about other people. I am made and remade continually. Different people draw different words from me. Lock up your libraries if you like, but there is no gate, no lock, no bolt that you can set upon the freedom of my mind. Books are the mirrors of the soul. How much better is silence, the coffee cup, the table. How much better to sit by myself like the solitary sea bird that opens its wings on the stake. Let me sit here forever with bare things, this coffee cup, this knife, this fork, things in themselves, myself being myself. No need to hurry, no need to sparkle, no need to be anybody but oneself. I don't believe in aging. I believe in forever altering one's aspect to the sun. Never pretend that the things you haven't got are not worth having. Let us never cease from thinking, what is this civilization in which we find ourselves? What are these ceremonies and why should we take part in them? What are these professions and why should we make money out of them? Growing up is losing some illusions, in order to acquire others. One likes people much better when they're battered down by a prodigious siege of misfortune than when they triumph. Each had his past shut in him like the leaves of a book known to him by heart, and his friends could only read the title. Rigid, the skeleton of habit alone upholds the human frame. What is the meaning of life? That was all a simple question, one that tended to close in on one with years. The great revelation had never come. The great revelation perhaps never did come. Instead, there were little daily miracles, illuminations, matches struck unexpectedly in the dark. Here was one. My own brain is to me the most unaccountable of machinery, always buzzing, humming, soaring, roaring, diving, and then buried in mud. And why? What's this passion for? What does the brain matter compared with the heart? Yet it is in our idleness, in our dreams, that the submerged truth sometimes comes to the top. Mental fight means thinking against the current, not with it. It is our business to puncture gas bags and discover the seeds of truth. This soul, or life within us, by no means agrees with the life outside us. If one has the courage to ask her what she thinks, she is always saying the very opposite to what other people say. He who robs us of our dreams robs us of our life. As long as she thinks of a man, nobody objects to a woman thinking. It is fatal to be a man or woman pure and simple. One must be a woman manly, or a man womanly. Writing is like sex. First you do it for love, then you do it for your friends, and then you do it for money. A woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write fiction. The telephone, which interrupts the most serious conversations and cuts short the most weighty observations, has a romance of its own. The eyes of others are prisons, their thoughts our cages. The beauty of the world, which is so soon to perish, has two edges, one of laughter, one of anguish, cutting the heart asunder. One of the signs of passing youth is the birth of a sense of fellowship with other human beings as we take our place among them. Great bodies of people are never responsible for what they do. Adeline Virginia Woolf, the 25th of January 1882 to the 28th of March 1941, was born Adeline Virginia Stephen on the 25th of January 1882 at 22 Hyde Park Gate in South Kensington, London. Woolf was born into an affluent household in South Kensington, London, the seventh child of Julia Princep Jackson and Leslie Stephen in a blended family of 8 that included the modernist painter Vanessa Bell. She was homeschooled in English classics and Victorian literature from a young age. From 1897 to 1901, she attended the Ladies' Department of King's College London, where she studied classics and history and came into contact with early reformers of women's higher education and the women's rights movement. Encouraged by her father, Woolf began writing professionally in 1900. After her father's death in 1904, the Stephen family moved from Kensington to the more bohemian Bloomsbury, where, in conjunction with the brothers' intellectual friends, they formed the artistic and literary Bloomsbury Group. In 1912, she married Leonard Woolf, and in 1917, the couple founded the Hogarth Press, which published much of her work. They rented a home in Sussex and moved there permanently in 1940. During the interwar period, Woolf was an important part of London's literary and artistic society. In 1915, she published her first novel, The Voyage Out, through her half-brother's publishing house, Gerald Duckworth and Company. Her best-known works include the novels Mrs. Dalloway (1925), To the Lighthouse (1927), and Orlando (1928). She is also known for her essays, such as A Room of One's Own (1929). Woolf became one of the central subjects of the 1970s movement of feminist criticism. Her works, translated into more than 50 languages, have attracted attention and widespread commentary for inspiring feminism. A large body of writing is dedicated to her life and work. She has been the subject of plays, novels and films. Woolf is commemorated today by statues, societies dedicated to her work and a building at the University of London. Throughout her life, Woolf was troubled by mental illness. She was institutionalized several times and attempted suicide at least twice. According to Dalsimer, 2004, her illness was characterized by symptoms that would today be diagnosed as bipolar disorder, for which there was no effective treatment during her lifetime. In 1941, at the age of 59, Woolf died by drowning herself in the River Ouse at Lewes.